Hello and welcome to the first episode of Binge and Cringe in person. I'm here with Stans.
Wow, our first ever live episode.
I can't believe it's so sick because if you don't know, Stan said he was going to Korea at the exact time that I flew all the way to the US to do a Binge and Cringe live and in person with him. And he has now cancelled that trip and decided to come all the way to Missouri just to see me.
Well, I knew I couldn't leave my guy hanging. You know, I couldn't leave him to do the episode on his own. I thought Korea trip, Schmaria trip, you know.
So true. I mean, it was crazy because when you were going through checking, you were like, wait, North Korea? Oh no. And you'd booked the wrong tickets?
Yeah, it was a whole thing. I'm on a no-fly list now, but it's not a big deal, you know. It might come into play some other time in the future.
Hey, Stans, what are your thoughts on North Korea? The marionette laugh's so good, dude. Okay, so obviously, as you could tell, this is a little bit of a different setup for Binge and Cringe. We have been testing out these microphones. I think they're okay. I should be able to fix things in post. If this is cringe, you'll probably just see it on the Patreon rather than in person, like on the actual YouTube. Sorry to give you worse content on
that's
there.
actually whack. That's actually whack to give your subscriber who give you more money and support you more to be like, here's the shit content. Here you go.
Yeah, well, I think on Binge and Cringe, we're usually really good with like actually good things that we put on there. Okay, don't quote that. That's insane. You're not even on the. Stans doesn't pay for the Binge and Cringe, so he's so cringe.
I'm cringe for that.
Today's episode of Binge and Cringe is a very spooky episode of Binge and Cringe because when we're filming this is all we already feel like kind of spooky. But this is coming out like 2 weeks after, so it will be extra spooky when you guys are seeing this. We're feeling spooky because we're going to a haunted house tonight, which should be very, very spooky.
Yeah.
We also just finished filming our entry for Cutie Cinderella's Halloween
short
competition.
film. Yeah.
And I don't think that will be out when this is out. So no spoilies, but it's very good.
Yeah,
it's
maybe
very,
you
very
do
scary.
like a little, if we have some of it edited, you do like a little preview.
Yeah, we can do a little insert, a little trailery thing.
These woods apparently were supposed to be the location of the last shit camp, and those were ran by a streamer called Cutie Cinderella.
What was that?
Also, something that I've just realized now that will be very weird that we think is totally normal. I'm on a wheelchair.
You know, where he had an accident on the way over here.
Yeah, wait.
He lost
this.
his foot.
This is how I had the accident. Hold on.
His wiki feet ratings are going down as we speak. Oh. He's gotten really good at wheeling in that wheelchair.
The only thing that stopped was a jolt. Let me go again. Second time.
Yeah, we needed it another time. Audio listeners are screaming in their graves.
I so nearly
he's cooking.
I cooked.
He cooked.
I cooked. That was actually kind of sick.
That was nasty.
That one, the save. You'll see there's a split second. I might show like a slow motion replay. I was like, this is it. I'm dead. Last night. So I'm a little bit hungover because I drank a lot last night.
A little bit drinking.
Because after we finished filming the Cutie Cinderella skit, we had a shot to celebrate. And then we had another shot to celebrate.
We just moved to celebrate.
And then Rachel broke out the limoncello. And then you're like, okay. Oh, wait, is it cello? I don't know. I feel like
the whole
this big yellow cello. Yellow cello.
There's a whole orchestra. We're like,
yeah. So drank a lot of that, drank a lot of everything. It was great. But we have been basically, we didn't actually explain. Vale there isn't really an explanation. Vale just has a wheelchair.
Yeah. I think he got it from like a Goodwill or something for cheap, and he was like, "Oh, extra chair."
It might have been
kind of insane, but also kind of funny.
I think it was. I think he had it originally because something like he had a broken. Someone was injured.
I think you're making stuff up.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he had it for a good reason.
No,
originally.
I think he just found it secondhand and was like,
okay, never mind. That's crazy. But it's been here. Like this is just one of their chairs that they use.
Yeah.
Since like a year ago when I first met Vale and stayed at this house.
He had a party last week where like a bunch of his girlfriend's family came over, Vale. and his girlfriend's grandfather was here, and he was like, "You want to get in the wheelchair? You want to get the which is crazy." And his grandpa was like, "Nah." And he's like, "Come on, it's pretty good. It's the most comfortable chair."
Pretty good.
And I was like, "Bro, there's no way you're trying to get the grandpa into the wheelchair."
It is
man.
very comfy though. Like unironic. That's why I've been sat in it, and I didn't really think to
I don't
even
think he
address
was
it.
like messing with him at all. It was genuine, like, "Oh, it's our comfiest chair."
Yeah.
But it was like so funny to tell your girlfriend's grandfather to be like, "Get in the wheelchair.
Get in the chair.
Yeah, it's where you belong." That was crazy.
But so we have been taking it in turns to sit in this chair specifically because we've been trying to teach ourselves and each other to wheelie in the wheelchair.
We've been getting pretty good. We've been able to go pretty far distances.
Yeah, I feel
across
like
the
doing a
apartment.
stationary wheelie because I can't really go too far back or too far forward from where I am.
Yeah.
The fact that I have the ability to do that is sick. I can't wait till I break my leg, so I have to use a wheelchair.
And you're like, well, now I'm stuck in here.
yeah, now I can wheelie everywhere. Let's
The problem
go.
is that like we'll be in the chair late, like watching a horror movie or whatever, and we'll just be doing the wheelie thing, and we'll like mess it up and like plunk to the ground.
Yeah.
And they're upstairs neighbors, so we're doing average
Yeah.
upstairs neighbor activity.
We're just
try-
fucking
way out, just slamming the
Downstairs, they're like,
wheelchair.
what are they doing? Fucking falling over on a wheelchair or something? It's
We're
like,
like,
yep, that's what we're
yeah.
doing. But last night I had a bit too much to drink. Well, not too much. I was fine, but I was drunk, and I was testing the limits of the wheelchair. And we've said, which I think is to our detriment, that we were like, I can't see a world where we fall backwards on this thing, right? Because we have so much control. I can understand falling forwards, but we
Right,
never
makes so
fall
much sense.
backwards. And now we've got to the point where we get like the bite point, like the fulcrum of like balancing perfectly. But to do that, it definitely goes backwards and forwards. So the backwards part is definitely now possible. And I fell over last night, and Bear was
At,
like,
like,
off the wheelchair.
At like 1 a.m. or something. The
Yeah.
wheelchair just slams into the ground.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Literally, I nearly died just then when I was showing you that. And there is a split second in my face where I saw death, and it wasn't very good. Are you okay?
Yeah, I actually, I have a reveal. I actually got laser eye surgery before going.
Yo, Stans?
So I don't need glasses anymore.
You
I've been
really
lying
wanted to
you guys
make
this
sure that
whole
you could see
time.
Kim Jong-un when you visited North Korea.
I just needed to see my idol, you know?
Just that one bit closer.
So true.
That's a crazy bit.
So you do it and you're like, that was
Yeah, I
crazy.
said it. I
I'm
was
so
like,
quirky. I'm so goofy.
I'm
Like,
so
oh my God,
quirky.
oh my God.
I'm not like other girls.
So true.
So, today's episode, spooky episode, we are going to be watching Ready or Not, which I remember seeing in cinemas and was like, this. I expected it to be just like a really bad generic horror film, and I was surprised at like how decent it was, like actually good. And I there was some like interesting, the way it like subverted things was kind of interesting, and I was fully on board. I remember leaving the cinemas being like, I would love to see this film again, and I haven't seen it since, but it's on Disney Plus, so we can watch it and use the extension, so it could be sick. Okay, so I just checked because I was a bit worried. Ready or Not, which is what we're going to watch, is available on Disney Plus in the UK and maybe other places, but not the US. So either VPN it or just press play at the same time. You won't be able to use the extension, I don't think, unless it's in your region, which kind of sucks. I don't even know if the extension, if it'll work, if it'll connect, if it's only on one region. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Either way, the live commentary will still work. You just press play on both at the same time.
Message me personally on Discord, Stans, if you have any questions about the
any tech
extension,
support.
anything you need.
Yeah,
message
yeah.
me
At
personally.
Stans.
Yeah, you have my permission from Stans myself.
Love that.
I've only seen the trailer. You know, much like every YouTube video ever in existence, I've never seen that. So
Oh, Stans. Remember, he stands.
so true. Yeah, no, I think I've only seen trailers for it. She's like, it's like a wedding thing. There's like a
Yeah, I'll give a synopsis when we get into the actual movie for the live commentary. But before we get into all of that, I do have a travel story of how I got here into the US. That is a wild story. It's a very long story though, so I'll try and give you like the TLDR, the
Was this the one
lowdown
that
of it.
you were like, I want to tell this, but I want to wait to like for the right time to tell?
Yeah,
it?
so this is a kind of story that is very, very long, but it is an amazing, it's a banger story. So I would like if there's only like 3 out of 5 people of a group that are there, I'm like, no, I'm not. This isn't even worth my time yet. I need 5 people to be here. Mainly because I feel like it's the kind of story that people would be like, oh my God, did you hear about that? And I'd have to repeat it. And I'd be like, that's cringe.
Yeah.
But you guys get to hear it, and you get to hear it alone.
Big.
Well, I mean, there's lots of people here, but you know what I mean. My whole entire trip to the US was Manchester to London to Atlanta to Vegas. The London to Atlanta to Vegas was all United Airlines. The Manchester to London was a separate trip. So I get to London, everything's fine. I go to the check-in desk to check in. I've already got my boarding pass. Everything's fine. I'm not checking into the flight. I'm checking in my bag. And I get to the desk with my bag and I give it to the lady. She asks for my ID. She looks at my name and she goes, oh, is this your second bag? And I'm like, well, I've got a carry-on. So I've got quite a big backpack. So I'm like, well, these are my 2 bags, but this is a carry-on. And she's like, so you don't want to check in a second bag? And I was like, no. And she goes, okay. And then we like stare at each other for a bit, like a bit of a stalemate, because I'm like, this is my first bag. And she's like, so you're not checking in a bag then?
Yeah.
And I'm like, so trying to understand what the fuck's going on. And then she's like, hold on a second. Goes, walks away, tries to find someone else to talk to. Not like a member of staff, not just like, I've had enough of you, I'm just going to talk to someone else. And it takes like 20 minutes. She comes back with a different person. She also asks, is that your second bag? I'm like, again, backpack, check-in luggage. This is very different. This is my checked bag. This is my carry-on. She then rings up someone. She's on the phone for fucking ages, saying the same things that she's asked me. So it's been like 4 instances of her just basically going, yes, he stood right in front of me. This is only checked bag. And crazy.
And you're sitting there like,
yeah, I'm like, I just want to get my bag on the plane, please. And then she hangs up that call and is like, okay, I'm going to level with you. I'll explain like what's going on. Because she could tell that I've just been stood there for half an hour, very confused. And she's like, so someone's already checked in under your name and checked in a bag, and they're 17 years old. So I'm still this beard and obviously not 17. And I'm like, well, that's not me. And she goes, yeah, that's definitely not you.
If you morph, your little beard falls off. You start
I become 17. Wait, it's the Zac Efron movie.
17 again.
17 again.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the plot of that one too.
Yeah.
It goes to the airport. They're like, you already
I
checked
go
the
from
bag.
Chandler Bing to Zac Efron.
I forgot that's who plays the old.
I don't know the guy's name, the actor.
It's Chandler Bing.
Chandler Bing.
He's so sarcastic.
Now I am 17 again. I am still confused because I can't get my bag checked in. Basically, someone has like, at this point, I feel like someone has impersonated me and managed to check in, get my boarding pass, and check in a bag under my name. So in my head, there's like a bomb on the plane because that's fucking crazy that someone's able to do that, right? So I'm terrified at this point. But she says she'll get it sorted. My bag can check in and that I'll be fine and I'll be able to get on the plane. So I'm like, all right, as long as that bit's sorted, as long as my bag gets on the plane, I don't care if it blows up, obviously.
Yeah, maybe it's better. Yeah.
I go through security, all that, get on the plane, everything's fine. Sat down on the plane and I get a tap on my shoulder from one of the flight attendants. She taps me on the shoulder and goes, can I check your seat number? So I'm like, yeah, okay. I'd swapped seats with the people I was on the aisle with, so because they were a couple, so I was supposed to be in the middle and they were supposed to be at the side.
Yeah.
I don't know how airlines had figured that was the best way to do things.
I don't know.
But so I swapped with them. So she was like, "That's not your seat," and I'm like, "No, I know it's not my seat, but we're all in the right. These 3 seats are definitely taken up by us 3. That's all that matters." And then behind her is this like 17-year-old guy who points at me and goes, I'm going to dox myself, so I'll bleep it out. He goes, Joseph. So I'm like, how does this guy know my name? And then he goes, Joseph. So they got it mixed up because we both have the exact same name.
It's a younger version of you. And you're like,
oh, It was a 70-year-old Nigerian guy, so it definitely it wasn't that much of a Spider-Man meme. We couldn't really be mixed up that much.
You have a dark complexion.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, have you ever thought about running for Prime Minister of Canada?
Okay, that is a plus 2. So instantly, both of us, like me and Joseph, realize the error that has happened. Because then they keep on going, are you Joseph middle name, last name?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, that's me. And he goes, I am not middle name. I am not middle name. But on his boarding pass, it says middle name. So he has definitely got my boarding pass.
He accidentally was you.
Yeah, he was checked in as me, and he didn't intend to be.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be on the flight, so his bag was also supposed to be on the flight.
Interesting.
So probably no bomb at this point, so I'm a little bit relieved. Unless I accidentally packed one. Whoa.
You stupid.
So she goes, the flight attendant goes, we'll sort it out. He's definitely got a seat. You're supposed to be here. Don't worry about it. Obviously, that's an insane situation like to happen. So everyone on the flight that's around me is like, what happened? So I explained the whole thing.
He's talking the town. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I explained the whole thing and that we have the same name. And there's like a really redneck guy that's on the. I don't know if that's a bad thing to say. Is redneck bad? Who cares?
I think you're fine.
He's sat on like a row next to me, and he goes, "There's no way you could confuse you two." And I'm like, "Well, you got a point." But like,
this is so funny to me. The situation of you like explaining the story to a bunch of like other people sitting on this plane, like you're doing a tight five. You're like,
yeah. I was like giving basically everything that I've already told in the story. I was telling to those guys.
Practicing for this moment.
Yeah, exactly. For the podcast.
He was cooking.
I think everything's fine. I'm telling the guys the story. And it's been like 10, 15 minutes because I've finished the story and I'm just chilling. I'm like, we've not moved anywhere. Then same flight attendant comes back down the aisle, goes, we need to see you at the front of the plane. So I'm like, no, something's definitely bad that's happened. We get to the walkway of like where everyone walks in, the like main entrance of the plane. And like there's 7 flight attendants all by the doorway. And on the other side of the door, out of the plane, is my bag. And I can see it, and I'm like, that's I thought we would be taking off in like 2 minutes, so the fact that my bag isn't on the plane is fucking crazy. Please, what the fuck? And they all of the flight attendants basically point at it and look at me in unison and go, "Is that your bag?"
Bomb.
What is the ticking noise? No, they go, "Is that your bag?"
Yeah,
I'm like, yes, that's my bag. Wait, please put it on the plane. And then the like worker with the high vis that had clearly was putting the bags on the plane looks at one of the flight attendants and goes, "If I take this bag all the way downstairs to put it on the plane just to have to bring it out again, I am never putting this bag on the plane again." I'm like, dude, okay, please. But he says that as he like turns to walk away. So I'm like reaching longingly. I'm like, no, please, please don't. Please put my bag on the plane, sir. Please, sir.
That's so sad because obviously he's pissed off because he has had to make all these trips. But it's not like your fault.
Because the airline fucked up. It's nothing to do with he didn't fuck up. I didn't fuck up.
That's tough.
But he's about to fuck up my day.
It's like on you. He's
yeah. He wasn't angry at me. He was angry at the flight attendants.
Okay.
But it was the fact that like his anger could mean that my bag doesn't go on the plane. So, and then I turn to the flight attendants and go, "What else? Do I need to do anything?" They're like, "No, you can sit down." I'm like, oh, "Okay, sure. My bag just won't go on the plane, and that's fine."
That's my bomb. Please put it in the plane.
Please. Which one's yours? It's the ticking one.
Yeah. I need to smell it. It's like gunpowder. We're good.
Yeah, it's the gunpowdery one. Yeah, the one that's covered in ash. That's mine.
Yeah.
I then sit back down and I'm very worried about my bag not making it on. The same people that I was telling the whole story to are like eagerly waiting for the update when I'm walking back because I've been gone for like 5 minutes. They're like, "What's the update in the drama? What's
you
going
should,
on?"
at the end of that, you plug your Twitch. You're like, come here for more stories.
I won't tell you guys the story. If you subscribe to the Patreon, then I'll tell you the story there.
You want part 2, come to my Twitch.
Stick that shit behind a paywall.
True.
I sit back down, tell everyone the story, chill for a bit. I'm like still worrying about my bag not being on the plane, but kind of trying to settle. And then realize that process has been about half an hour. So obviously 15 minutes of that was my bag trouble. that I then sat down, and then I realized I've been sat down for another 15 minutes and we've not moved. And I thought we were close to take off when my bag was outside. So I'm like, what the fuck's happening now? Announcement over the tannoy says, we found a leak in the plane, so we won't be taking off for a bit. We'll be ready to go in about 10 minutes. Which is not that bad.
That's not bad.
I mean, it's already been half an hour, but I know
sucks,
15 minutes of that was me, so I can't really be too mad at that. Because that was like, I was the reason that everyone on the plane was fucked. It wasn't me, but you know what I mean. So then half an hour goes by, another update, still trying to figure out the leak. We've got workers coming on the plane right now to figure out what's happening. It'll be another 10 minutes. And I'm like, okay, when you say another 10 minutes, the last one was half an hour.
That's
so stop saying 10 minutes.
How about another 10 minutes?
Every half an hour, there was an update that was basically like, insert what we're doing with the problem here. It will be 10 minutes, but every half an hour.
That's whack.
They would never give an accurate amount of time that it was going to
like
take.
You're like a toddler who has no concept of time yet.
Yeah.
Another 10 minutes.
It was like every single YouTube video editor that says like, oh, the video will be ready by this day. No, it won't. No, it fucking won't.
That's such a niche you problem. That's such a niche you thing to bring up.
Oh, sorry.
Like, oh, so relatable.
Everyone's like, +2. They get it. +2. They just keep on giving updates every half an hour that is like 10 minutes for sure this time. So that carries on every half an hour for 5 hours. We were on the runway for 5 hours. How fucking... So I would like to add, no food, no drink, because we were still docked to the airport, so they couldn't they couldn't do the wheelie out food and drink things. We were supposed to get a meal within half an hour of takeoff because we got on the flight at 2 p.m. So it was 7 p.m. by this point. So we basically missed 2 times for meals. It was crazy.
Has to be so mad. I'd be pissed.
We were very annoyed, especially every single announcement being like, oh, it'll be 10 minutes. And like me and all the people that I'd like camaraderie, like made friends with through my story around were like, 10 minutes. Yeah, sure. It's on like every so often, they just randomly say something like, this is the longest 10 minutes I've ever had. And things like that.
It's crazy how fast you bond with people when you're all pissed off at the same thing.
So true. So, as if it can't get any worse. I mean, surely it can't get worse, right? We've actually taken off.
Okay, yeah.
So we're in the air. Maybe my bag's on there. Maybe it's not. Who knows? And as the flight attendant is giving her like security, not the one before you take off, but the one after, where you're like, keep your seatbelt fastened with the light
emergency
on.
Exit, blah, 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 blah.
No emergency exits before.
Oh, I guess.
He's cringe. He doesn't fly. He's so cringe.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't get to Korea.
I forget he stands. Oh no. Pausing the story. We should stop doing that voice because we do this stupid voice whenever we're around each other, and we almost constantly talk in that voice.
We could do the voice.
We could maybe do the voice if we are feeling a bit. We could do the voice.
Yeah, we do it all.
Twitter.
It's actually such brain rot. It's such.
And Stans, you are Stans. You hate that voice.
Oh, it's the worst voice I've ever heard.
We actually, the last episode was me, Stans, real Stans, and Vale. Sorry, Stans.
That motherfucker is not real.
And me and Vale started doing that voice.
Oh no!
Like during the recording, which is so funny because Stans was already having a horrible time watching Morbius. Because we were just going, have sex, poop me pants, poop me pants, have sex, have sex.
No.
And then doing that voice in between. It was, he was not having fun. Sorry, sidetracked. We're in the air. Security announcement is going on. She's like, make sure the seatbelts are fastened and
What? She just screamed.
And then stops talking. The announcement cuts off.
She saw your backpack.
Well, it gets crazier because, it doesn't get crazy because I have omitted information because as she screamed, there was a huge flash of light from we couldn't really tell if it was inside or outside the plane because it was so bright.
Yeah.
Like everyone, it was like a flashbang. We were all blinded.
What?
And she screams and then cuts out communication, is silent for 5 minutes. So me and all the people that I made friends with are all looking at each other like, we're gonna die. This is it. This is we're done.
Safety thing is so funny.
In the middle of the same, she just screams as though like we thought she's been electrocuted. There's a fault on the plane, and she mid thing was like touching a fuse or something, and went.
After they're like, hey, the plane is like cardboard. It's all taped together. We need time to fix it. Give us 10 minutes. You're like,
there's like 17 leaks, and now it's electrocuting everyone.
She's
We're
dead.
gonna die.
She dead. She dead.
And then so we then get an update from her that is like 5 minutes later, and she goes, "Hey, just an update. We don't know what that was."
There's so much worse.
And then that was it. She didn't like elaborate or go like, "Oh, sorry, we're fine though. Everything's fine," because I just screamed. And then another 5 minutes later, the pilot gives an update and he goes, "Yeah, it's just static. We're all fine. Don't worry about it." I'm like, "Okay, dude, I guess I trust you. I don't know."
Okay, we're in the air at this point. So
Yeah. He said we checked all diagnostics and all the things and everything's working fine. So it basically didn't really know what it was. Just gonna say it's static. And I assume she just screamed because it was a shock.
Yeah.
But it is crazy. No one else on the flight screamed. None of the people that don't fly every day went, "Ah!" So it's crazy that she just screamed
In the middle of the safety thing is so good.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
was
God.
wild. So that was my insane flight experience.
Okay. Well, I have a travel story that's like insane, but much shorter.
There's no
travel story.
universe that it competes with that.
Well, probably not, but it was still funny. So
Okay.
I flew into Nashville to get here.
Yeehaw!
Yeah, brother. Yeah, I had to get a lasso for the flight. I had to get the
So
boots
true.
first. They wouldn't let me on otherwise. They're
Yeah,
like, no,
yeah.
we don't let you into Nashville.
Your
unless
bag
you
was
have
on
this."
the other side of the door and they wouldn't bring it on, and you had to lasso
I
it
know.
on
So
to
they were
prove
like,
that you were able to get to
"Oh,
Nashville.
This guy fucks.
Yeah.
This guy can come to
Yeah,
Nashville.
sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so I go to Nashville and the plane lands, and I get off the plane and I go to the bathroom because you get off the plane, you really got to use the bathroom. The bathroom is packed because everybody just got off a flight. And so all the urinals are full. I managed to get one of them, so I'm standing there. And a guy walks in, and he has full on like cowboy hat, cowboy boots, like walks in. sees-
Chad alert.
Yeah, Chad alert. Sees that the urinals
Wait,
are
pause.
full.
He walks in and it's playing the no, even better. What's the song? The chess song, my song that you guys have said it's your song.
Money on the Dash.
Money on the dash.
Yeah,
But
the
the
money
money on the dash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
so
carry on.
he walks
Very
in,
niche meme.
It is niche meme, but he walks in, Giga Chad. Got the hat, got the boots, and he looks at the urinals full, and he goes, "Everybody got their best friend by the neck."
Wait, out loud?
Yeah,
So internally. That's great. Like loud enough to like to everyone,
Yeah,
not
he
just like to himself.
announces that to the wall.
Wait.
It was so funny. I actually had the whole
What
squad
is that?
laughing.
What does that mean?
No, you got your best friend.
I thought you meant like it was full. Like that everyone's got their best friend with them at the
No,
urinal.
no,
Their
I-
best
everybody
friend
had it
round
by
the
the neck.
choking them round the neck.
Talking about by the neck. It was funny. It was
That is fucking crazy.
Everybody on the urinal was cracking up. Honestly, it was great vibes. It was-
I have to start saying that like from now on. If there's ever a full urinal, then it's gotta be you're choking your best friend round the neck.
Everybody got holding their best friend by the neck. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Best friend in one hand, sister in the other. Yeehaw! Welcome to Nashville. I feel like Nashville's not like that also. Like they're probably country, but I feel like civilized.
Okay. Another whack thing that happened to me that is like music related.
Wait, okay, sorry. You're going to say music related, but we were talking about like fucking your sister. So what is this story?
It's music related. I went from Nashville. I took a Greyhound to get here because it was like way cheaper. So I went to the Greyhound station, which was kind of weird vibes. Greyhound stations usually are like kind of sketch.
Yeah, very sketch. We've like been in so many weird Greyhounds from like traveling around the US.
Yeah,
so.
there's something about being on a Greyhound. I think it's the fact that you have access to the bus driver, to the person who's like piloting the vehicle, where people feel like they can just go up and like start talking to him. There was a guy on the Greyhound I was on that was like could you drop me off here? And it was like in broken English. And he showed the guy like a Google Maps. And it was
so
like
when you
just a
said here, I
random
thought you
highway.
meant just like stop now and take off here.
He was asking him to drop him off on a random highway. And he was
on
like,
the highway?
yeah. And the bus driver's like, I can't do that, man. Like my bosses would get real mad at me if I
my
did that. I
God.
can't do that. And the guy was like, and because he didn't like have enough English to like,
Yeah, that
communicate.
sucks.
It was crazy.
That is insane.
Yeah. Anyway, I was at the Greyhound station and two people started having an argument. There was like a man and a woman who started like, it was like getting a little bit heated. And then they like stood up and they were like yelling at each other. And I was like, damn, this is America. This is, I was like, spooked.
America, maybe gun.
America.
Shoot. Death.
Yeah, I was spooked. So
Yeah.
I'm looking and they're like it's getting very heated. And this older black woman stands up and she starts like she starts like singing. She starts going into like a whole song.
This isn't real.
No,
This isn't
I'm
real.
so serious.
What do you mean?
She like reaches out a hand and
I-
starts singing. I'm serious to this arguing and the woman
This can't be real.
woman
This is gonna end in a D's nuts joke or something.
No, I swear to God. The woman turns, who is in the argument, turns and starts singing back. And
Fuck off.
I'm so serious. I am so serious. And I was like, and everybody in the because everybody's watching.
Don't say
this
everyone
argument.
else starts singing as well. It's like a
Everybody's
flash mob or something.
Everybody's watching this argument because you're in a Greyhound station and there's an argument happening. So everybody's seeing the singing thing happening, and everybody's like, wow.
That's insane.
The craziest energy. Nashville was a fever dream between the urinals and that. I was like, what is going on in this city?
Yeah, everyone's on fucking opioids or something. What the fuck's going on? That's crazy.
And
There's
so
an epidemic.
They sang at each other, and the argument de-escalated because of it. I was like,
Wait, so both the people arguing were just singing at each other?
No. It was the older like black lady. She stood up and started singing, and the woman sang back. And then the
Right.
two who were arguing like stopped because this had
Okay.
just transpired.
That's,
It was so weird. I was like,
that's if it. I only believe it because it's you.
Yeah.
There's no universe I believe, and no one listening believe.
Yeah,
You don't
if
believe
you
that
don't
at
believe
all.
me, completely fair. It is one of the most insane things that's ever happened.
I
to
know
me.
my
was
story
like,
was insane, but that's crazier, right? Mine's insane. Like, oh, I can imagine that happening. Airlines are kind of cringe.
Yeah.
That's like you were experiencing an alien invasion. It was
I have
like
no idea how that.
invasion of the body snatchers. They weren't real human beings.
No, that was what you were going through.
Oh yeah, wait, yeah, we did. We swapped buddies, Freaky Friday style.
True.
All right, story time's over. Those were long stories. We were going for a long time, but I think you guys like that. We're now going to go watch Ready or Not. I think it's called Ready or Not.
Yeah, you said it was called Ready.
I think I just hope I haven't got it wrong this whole time. So
Just dub over it with like, oh,
I think we're going to watch. There we go.
perfect.
So
listeners are,
well, they would have heard the Ready or Not or whatever I put in
true.
AI voice.
Thanks.
I think it's Ready or Not though, so I might just leave it blank because it'd be funny. If you want to watch along with us, you can check out the Patreon. It's only $5 a month. It's very, very sick. Obviously, Stans is a big advocate for the Patreon.
We do a little bit of binging. We do a little bit of cringing on the Patreon. you gotta check it out.
The
guys.
laugh.
You'd love it.
What was funny about the laugh is you've got the mouth down, but the
But not
sound
the
is
laugh. Yeah,
so
hold on.
bad.
He does like a- he does like-
you sound like a hyena compared to Stans. Sorry, but you are Stans. Sorry, Stans. Go check out the Patreon. We've got a bunch of things on there in all of the different tiers, but specifically you can watch using our extension on the $5 tier for anything that's on Disney Plus that we've reacted to. So that whether that's Glee, Hamilton, High School Musical, and now Ready or Not. Are you ready? If you're not, then here is a clip of us watching. If you don't want to subscribe to the Patreon, but maybe you do, but maybe you don't, and you don't know if you want to do it, then go check it out right now.
They got that board game circus. Did she just snort?
Okay.
Did she just? Sorry, do you have like a snort fetish?
No, I
Why were you
thought
like,
it was
whoa?
Oh my gosh, Samara.
She's so snored. We need to stop doing the voice. And we're back from watching the film, and actual like really good film.
Banger of a movie.
I know that I said going into it that I left the cinema being like, oh my god, dude, amazing movie. I really want to see it again. But I had forgotten most of the film going into it, apart from the ending, which we will go into full details, full spoilers, obviously. but it's such a good film.
It's so much fun. Such a fun movie.
Fun is definitely the way to describe it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
full of character, and I think the only way that it can survive that movie is having someone like Samara Weaving who fucking killed
she's
every
such
single
a
scene she
charismatic
was in.
lead. She was just so fun all the way through, like very fun, and then like things start getting serious, and she's taking things so seriously, and then she's like at the end, she's like, God, I'm just so fed up with everything, and you just feel that all the way through.
Because quite often I think there can be, like in horror movies, the main protagonist or any of the characters in the movies can sometimes be like, oh, I don't understand why they're making these choices.
Yeah.
They're doing stupid things.
and you end up getting kind of annoyed at them.
Usually I feel like characters make stupid decisions in horror films. This one, I completely understood the mindset of everything that Grace, aka Samara Weaving, was doing. And I think that's only from her. Like, the writing was great, but it's her delivery that sells it. It's amazing.
She was killing. I'm honestly a Samara Weaving fan just from this movie. Like, she was just that good in it.
Like the sass, and then I think to talk about this film, brief synopsis, just in case you don't know, and then straight into the big spoiler at the end. I think.
Yeah.
So the whole entire plot of the movie is Samara Weaving is marrying into this
Very rich family.
this game club family, very rich. And they have made a pact with the devil where they have to play a game on the wedding night, otherwise the whole family dies. And this particular game that they're playing is Murder Samara Weaving.
Yeah, it's hide and seek, but the person hiding has to not get found and killed, basically.
So the whole way through the film, all of the characters, like in the family and not in the family, are all talking like, as they're going around trying to kill Grace, they're all having conversations like, maybe this isn't even real. And like, is the ritual real? Do we even need to do this? Like, some of them are having like moral qualms with it. Some of them are just like, fuck it, I want to kill everyone.
Yeah.
And then you get to the end where it's revealed originally that the ritual isn't real and they all survive. It hits midnight and they're like, wait, it hits dusk, dawn. And everyone's alive. Nothing bad happens. And then the old lady goes to kill Samara Weaving, and as she does, she fucking explodes.
It's so
into pieces.
funny. It's so funny how they actually, you're like, is this a deal with it? It must be like a deal with the devil. Otherwise, it's just like has no punch to it. And then at the end, you're like, how are they going to die? Because the house is on fire. And you're like, are they just all going to die?
Maybe they just burn to death.
And then they all just start exploding. It's so sick.
Because there's been so many hints throughout the movie to like, burning, and they're going to burn on fire. And then the house sets on fire, and you think maybe that's to do with the devil. And then them just... The fact that they died just by exploding is so funny and so well done as well, because it's kind of realistic. If you imagine a human being is just going to explode and bits
I don't
go
know
everywhere.
how they did the effect, because they got like the blood splatting around everywhere, like really good. Like Samara by the end is just absolutely drenched in blood. Very iconic. The dress like ripped up, blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it's very.
That's definitely another point. Is the how every single moment, basically, in this film, from when the hide and seek starts to the end, the wedding dress being like through different stages of like
badass and like torn
and blood. Every single like image of her just like stood in full, whether she's got a gun, whether she's tied up, is like so iconic. Could be put on like a movie poster and be like, this is amazing. Yeah, iconic, so good.
Yeah, I liked it. There were a few things that like it did have some like plot problems. There was the question we kept coming back to that's like, okay, well, if this is a ritual you have to do with somebody you marry, why would you ever marry anybody? Like, if you really love this person, you want to protect them, like, don't marry them. Just date them.
The only solution to that was the only like solution to the plot point was that you stay part of the family because you want money.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like kind of.
But then it was revealed that like Alex's character hasn't been part of the family for a while, and he's like he was led astray, and now he's come back to the family. So if he already wasn't part of the family, why? What was the point of any of that?
I don't know. There was some plot points that were like a little iffy there, but there was some stuff. But the movie overall is so fun that like I'm so willing to overlook some of the problems,
for sure,
because like I just
have a great. There's no universe you don't have a great time watching that film.
My only problem, I guess, is like there might be a pacing thing, because I think when she like gets out of the like off the grounds or whatever, and they like recapture, the pacing gets a little funky.
It drags a bit. She gets into one car and then out of the car, and then
and
she's
the
in
whole
another
going
car
back to
and
the
then out of
ritual
the car.
twice is kind of crazy, and like so there's like some stuff where I feel like it could have been a little more interesting in like the middle bit toward the end.
But I think it's good because it keeps the audience on its toes. There's a lot of like subverting tropes and like as soon as like the kid, for example, when she's in the stalls and the kid like points the gun at her and she assumes that she's fine because it's the kid, and then the kid's the only person in the whole film that actually successfully shoots her.
Yeah, nobody
It's
else
so
actually
sick.
successful injures her, except I guess him with the knife at the end. But like everybody else like misses their shot or whatever.
She got more injured by the ladder
Yeah.
in the goat's
Yeah,
place.
and that's another funny thing is that it sets up a lot of shots of like they have that one crossbow shot where she's like aiming the crossbow and she's like, "I got you now," and she like takes the
completely
shot and
whiffs.
completely misses.
Yeah.
Very funny.
And
very funny.
for some reason there's an eagle like going,
Yeah.
"Ah!" which is very weird.
Yeah, I think it takes itself not too seriously because it knows that it just has fun with the premise. It doesn't take it to like a really, really scary place. It's just like a very fun horror movie, and I like those. It kind of reminds me similarly to have you ever seen Happy Death Day?
Yes.
It kind of has
dude, I
similar
love
vibes.
Happy Death
yeah,
Day.
and that's also another horror
Yeah.
movie that's just like so fun. Right?
There are some horror films that I think most good horror films have like a lot of character to them, and there are some that require there not being any plot holes whatsoever, and it has to be like very. If there's any, it can ruin the film. These kind of films, like Death Day, like this, are like. Plot holes don't really matter.
Yeah.
You're not there for like the intricacies of, well, actually, this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's just like you're there for the ride of this, whatever character it is, Samara Weaving in this. I can't remember her name in Happy Death Day, but she's great as well.
She's very good.
And both of those films, it's very much like you're just in it for the vibes with the character going through this absolutely insane roller coaster.
This movie almost doesn't feel like a horror movie. Like I think that you put it into the horror movie category to like get a certain audience there.
Yeah.
And I think the horror movie audience is one that's just always very down for the ride.
Yes, for sure.
So you can have a movie that's a little bit on like the goofier side, and horror fans will still like have fun with it.
It's like the opposite of Mother, which we watched the other day. Mother was like when it was released and advertised, it was put out like it's a horror film, and people were like going to watch it thinking that it was a horror film, when in reality it's just an allegory on fucking Christianity
and a very
and
like
life.
serious one.
And it treads a stupid. This is not a review of Mother, but it treads a stupid line between like if you know what the allegory is, then it's too on the nose, and if you don't know what it is, it's fucking insane and it's hard to follow and awful. But imagine going in thinking like, oh, this is going to be a fun horror film, and then watching that, it's like, why did they market it like that?
Well, I think horror fans they like that serious stuff on occasion, like a really good horror film that takes itself seriously and like treats its premise very seriously. Like that can make for a really interesting kind of a movie and like be very chilling. But like a one that lets itself have fun is also, I think, and that's kind of the beauty of the genre is it can bounce from, you can be like really, really horror where it's like it's taking itself very seriously, or like towards the like Cabin of the Woods.
I feel like Cabin in the Woods. I think Cabin in the Woods is like it's a good example compared to this.
Cabin in the Woods is like top tier, not like, which is because it takes itself seriously, but it also is like
takes itself very
funny.
seriously. But like, I think it's just I think Cabin in the Woods is close to being a black comedy. I think this film is a black comedy, like just through and through.
For sure.
Because I think there was more laughs than scares.
Yeah.
But that's not like a disservice to the film. I think they intended for that, right? Like,
I mean,
I was never laughing at something bad that was like, it wasn't like Sharknado where I'm laughing because it's stupid and goofy. I'm laughing because they've done an insane thing that they intended.
It's intentional.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I can't even think of a moment that is like particularly scary in the movie.
They did a couple of cuts to like grandma hiding, and it was like when they were having sex at the start. Grandma was in the background, and that was like a spooky
crazy
thing.
that woman is not a grandmother. Crazy that
she's not grandma. She's Anne.
sister.
Yeah.
Great. She looks so old. And it looks insane. They give her a phone.
Sorry to the actress if you're watching. You
Yeah,
look so fucking old.
The actress is like, oh, they reviewed my movie. Oh, I
Look
think
at
I-
what?
They didn't like my faux hawk.
She goes, the only thing she watches are people reviewing Ready or Not.
True.
Honestly, the faux hawk was sick. She just looked
Yeah.
insane. I think that was part of the point.
If you're watching this, hey.
I'm sorry. Hey, listen, I'm sorry.
Hey,
You-
call it.
it's
Hey, hit me up.
intended,
Hit me up,
it's
though. Hey.
intended.
I heard you snort at one point.
Oh yeah, dude.
So
we
true.
should. So for the people that may have watched the film but might not be paying for the
Live
Disney
commentary.
Plus Patreon live commentary, Alex was really a big fan of the snorts.
And just early on, Samara Weaving laughed and she snorted. I went, was that a snort? And
And you got really turned on by it.
No.
Luckily, there's
I don't know
no
what you're
visual
talking
because
about.
they won't be able to see the huge bulge in your pants after that
Well,
one.
you know, it did take up the whole screen. You know, it was a crazy thing, but it was just, you know.
It became a bit of a running
feeling
joke.
some
It was
type of
funny.
way. I was
The
thinking about
snort.
the Ant Man. I wasn't Ant-Man.
the Ant-Man.
Quantumania. Yeah, so it was a running bit about
Yeah, it was
snort.
just
And one of the
fun
characters
snort.
does cocaine, so that was kind of fun.
Yeah. Oh, she was
Snort.
crazy. She was so funny.
That
Maybe
couple
the
was-
funniest.
Yeah.
I don't think you could play that character and not
Mhm.
be that funny. Like I
Mhm.
think it was just written really well.
Yeah.
But I think the best like craziest character for sure.
Yeah.
The ant that was fucking
Her
snorting. The
husband,
sister that was snorting
He
the
got
stuff.
a few like funny moments with his like Google searches on the toilet, like how to use crossbow, are devil packs real, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, real or bullshit. Searching it to Google.
I wanted him to have like just one more moment. You know, I wanted him to have like one more
Yeah.
thing.
Well,
I
he
was
was
kinda
he was
sad.
like that when they were drinking the ritual thing. He was like, "Ooh, this isn't very nice."
Yeah, and like that's, but it's not like a
Yeah.
like I liked
And
it.
then
It
he
good.
was the guy when it was like when they thought they were going to explode. It was like, wait, is this?
It was all fake.
It was
and then
all
he explodes.
fake? Wait, what?
That was good.
Yeah, it was really good. Honestly, I'm trying to think of any gripes that I have with this movie because
Other than, like the plot hole stuff.
yeah, but I genuinely just don't care about that.
Uh-huh.
I almost. I don't know if this is like actually a good part of the film, but it's for me. I like watching a film and being like, "The fuck is that? Why are they doing this? This is so stupid."
Mhm.
As long as it's like separated, like if it's a movie where I can watch it with friends and just shout shit at the screen, I like that kind of vibe. And I think you said whilst we were watching it in the live com that this is like one of those films. You sit around with a group of people, you just fucking go, "Oh my god, what
Yeah.
the fuck is happening now? This is crazy."
Would definitely recommend watching. It's like a good group of friends movie to
Yeah.
watch because it's just
Well,
there's
that's
so many
why it's
moments that are
perfect.
so
Hey,
funny.
for the Patreon,
So
we are the group of
true.
friends.
We're your group of friends.
Me-
we're
me and
friends.
Stans.
We're Stans. I'm your friend.
He's your
Legally,
friend.
I'm required to be your friend.
Stans, to the left, Stans.
It's getting better.
It's not getting
It's
better.
getting so much better every time I do it.
Oh, it's so good, obviously. Okay.
no.
He's making it worse now.
You gotta let me cook. You gotta let me cook.
Um,
What's that, Rochelle? Oh, that's the impression. I have a dog. You know,
I'm
it was
sure there's going to be
weird.
some bits that we end recording. We're going to be like, "Oh, I wish
It
I'd
was
said that."
weird the relationship between Daniel and his wife, and they never really elaborate on it much.
It was like they were brother and sister because they had zero chemistry and didn't
Yeah.
seem like they liked each other. So it
Yeah.
was really weird.
It was like they almost got married to get her like out of a bad situation, but it's never explained like why he would want
and she
to
was
bring her out of a
she
bad
was
situation.
super into the killing,
Yeah.
and he was super not.
Yeah,
Enough to poison the whole family and get shot for it.
yeah. It was
Oh,
whack.
because she shot him.
She
the,
did.
The sister.
Yeah.
The wife.
the wife. He still thinks he's a sister.
Yes, it's crazy.
I don't know. It was a very weird relationship, and I wish they got developed like just a little more because I felt like they were like trying to say something with it, but I didn't get what they were trying to say.
I will say that just another funny thing that I loved about the film that I just remembered.
Yeah, I had to do that into the mic. You were leaning away and you leaned back into blast him with it. Jesus.
I did it for you.
Oh, I appreciate it.
No, something that I really loved about the film. I'll leave it in. Fuck it. Something that I really loved was all of the insane early kills that happened on like the servant staff,
Mhm.
because you just don't. You assume that they're gonna like ramp it up and that it's gonna start slow and get faster, and then within like the first bit of the hunt, someone gets shot through the head and Samara sees it. So you know that like, oh, now she knows
it's serious.
Shit's going to get down.
Yeah.
And it goes down straight away. And I love it.
It's crazy. We were saying how much of the servant staff just dies, just gets boomed right off rip.
Yeah.
And then how...
And then the only one that survives, Mr. Chief Servant, is just like, oh, I'll suck you off for a $5. Yeah, sure, I'll do whatever you want.
How much of a boner he has for killing Samara Weaver.
Yeah.
It's like so weird that they get the serving... how many people they convinced to join this
He
cult
did most of the
people.
hunting, I feel like, in this film.
Yeah,
it was barely the others. Most of them, the
he gets
family were
no
just
benefit.
watching on a fucking phone the whole time whilst he
True.
goes around like killing them.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How much do they pay him, do you think? Because they're rich as fuck, so it's got to be a lot.
He's got to be benefiting a lot from the devil.
It's got to be
pack.
like, you know, when you work in a school and you work there for a certain amount of time, you get tenure. It's like he's got to have tenure, right?
I mean, if you are somebody who is in on this devil worshipping group that like hunts and kills people, and you like know that and you're chill with that, then you got to be.
I guess, yeah, you've got to be okay with a lot of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, a great time overall. I think I would love to see this film again. I might actually recommend that we as a group watch this tonight.
Watch it. It was a very fun
After
time,
watching
honestly.
it, I would love to. Which is, I think that says so much about the film if I want to watch it straight away.
Right
again.
after you watch it. It just in an environment where you're
with
with a bunch
vibes.
of friends, the vibes.
That
is where I would recommend whipping it out.
Well,
hold on.
wait.
Man's recommendation right there. Whip it out in a group of friends.
Well, speaking of which, Stans, thank you so much for joining me on the first ever live Binge and Cringe.
Cance, it's been a pleasure to be here with you and to cancel.
You don't call
my
me
career trip.
Cance in this.
The facade is slipping.
Wait, where are your glasses? Is that how we end?
I mean, we could.
Stans, you always end these episodes with your catchphrase. And you know what that catchphrase is because you're Stans. So you take it away and then we'll say bye.
Let's talk about that.
Wait, because he doesn't do that anymore, but he does know. He knows.
Sir.
He knows. All right. Thank you for watching. Bye.